And we're live.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everybody. Sorry that you can't see us today.
Listen, it's Thursdays. We stopped scheduling things on Thursday because Thursdays are just a little too chaotic.
Very chaotic.
Yeah, like I got out of the gym at 5, got home by like 5:20, ran and jumped in the shower with the food in the oven and scarfed down my food right before this. So,
Look, you just described my night so far. Like literally to a T. Just added walking the dogs and unfortunately
right.
having to
The
put them out.
trade-off for not showing our faces is that you guys can watch me draw while we have this conversation. Since Thursday is a draw day for my business. So look at us, we're compromising.
Absolutely. Multitasking. That's the way to go.
Yeah, we love this for us.
I love it.
So we're just giving a second for people to see that we're live. So I guess with that being said, how's everybody's week been going?
Yes.
If you finished the book this week because you wanted to be a part of this conversation, put it in the comments.
Seriously. That's so funny.
I've done that before where I forgot which book club that I was listening in on.
Yeah.
And they made the book sound so interesting that I was like, I feel like I left out. I feel like I'm left out of this. So I'm going to go read it.
You're like, hold on, let me join this conversation right quick.
Right. It's like, oh, I wasn't prepared for this initially, but since I'm here.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know how well my webcam is going to do. Y'all know my webcam acts like it doesn't want to cooperate. So I have to pull this up so y'all can't see things you're not supposed to see. But yeah. I'm just feeling good today. It's a really good day today.
Today wasn't bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad at all. The weeks go by so fast, and when you work every day, it's kind of all blurs together.
Yes.
It's kind of weird. It's like every day is a work day.
Yeah. I mean,
no days off. Although I have a day off this Sunday, so I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, I guess you guys get to watch me work on Simone. It's less pressure to color than it is to draw.
Yes.
So we'll be working on Simone for this lovely conversation. Okay. So Between the Read said, I finished this book back in July while I was recovering from surgery. Took my mind off the pain. It was such a good book. That's actually really good.
Mm-hmm.
I already know that Kara read the book because Kara and I talked about it.
Oh, nice.
Shout out to Kara.
I realized that I am a sucker for character-driven books. I love a good plot, don't get me wrong, but for me, the characters make a book more than the plot. And, obviously you want the plot to be solid and believable, but the characters are who you root for. The characters are what make a book interesting to me, or they're the ones that you go on the journey with. So I'm really loving how character-driven this book was. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why I enjoyed it as much as I did.
I think that's why I had the imagery so good, because I imagined everything. However, I do need to preface this. Hi guys, welcome to Black Prose Club, where Black books, Black lives, and Black stories have always mattered. I'm your host, Brittany, aka Melanin Eclectic.
And I'm also your host, Oshale of Oshi Reads and Oshi Writes Here.
Today, we are doing another book chat. This is the first time, by the way, this is the first time that you guys have requested that we do another chat, because we've always done most of our reviews as non-spoiler reviews.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time that y'all were like, hello, can we have another chat?
Yes, so it is.
We are talking again about We Are the Origin by C.M. Lockhart. This is the regular version. This is the limited edition version. We will be talking about both today. It will be spoilers. I'm basically here to talk about whatever I want to talk about. If you have parts of the story that you really want to gush about, please write it in the comments so that we can gush with you. Tell us who your favorite characters are. Tell us your favorite scenes. Tell us your favorite points. All of those things. This is basically I just want to talk about the book that I read with my book friends chat.
Yes. And oh my goodness, there were so many requests for this live. This live is here by popular demand, literally.
Yeah, this is the first time that's happened. I kind of like it.
It's never happened before. It's kind of exciting.
But okay, so I'm gonna just go out on a limb here and say, if my man isn't leaving a realm and climbing up a mountain and then jumping on a mythical creature to get me off the mountain and then carrying me for 2 miles,
I know,
fully bloody, on the verge of death, to go into a town full of strangers to save my life, I don't want him.
The bar has been set, okay?
It was like from jump, Jax was bae. Jax was my bae and Brandy's bae, like from jump.
Yeah, he was a great representation of just strength, protection, unconditional love, friendship, connection. So their relationship was a great representation of a love that wasn't toxic, that was very healthy. Again, I love the fact that they had been dating for 8 years. That was really pretty. And you don't see that in a lot of fantasy novels. That kind of longevity and kind of like having that level of a foundation in a romantic relationship in the book. So it kind of set the stage for Brandy to focus on her mission because she wasn't focusing on trying to get a man.
Yeah,
which I feel like
books love to diminish a strong woman by making her gush over a man.
And it's very interesting because, like, y'all know I love romance. I really do. But for some reason, unless I'm specifically reading a romance novel that also happens to be a fantasy, so the fantasy takes a backseat to the romance. If I'm reading a fantasy novel, like a actual fantasy novel, whenever the romance overwhelms the story, I get very irritated, even though I love romance. Like, I'm just like, okay, well, this is not the focal point of the story. This person is on a hero's journey. There's all this stuff going on, and you're trying to tell me that they're completely off their game because of love. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it, and I don't love it, and I don't want it.
It's because they always take like the strongest woman and then make it be like, oh my God, I no longer have the strength because I can't get dick. It's like, sis, if you don't stand up, please. If you don't stand up.
Someone needs to tell that to Sarah. Stand up. Stand up, Sarah. No, it's not for you.
It's the way you came for Sarah's neck so fast.
Look, I actually, now that I've had some time to reflect, I realized that I actually really like Sarah's character.
Really?
Yes, I love that she's annoying. I love that she is irritating. I love that she's basically everything that we hated, and she's not the main character, because they would have made her the main. I feel like in another fantasy, she would have been the main character, and I would have just been miserable reading the whole time. So I love that she's all of that, and she's a side character. I'm sorry.
Listen.
I love that for us.
I interject comments in between our statements because I died.
Throw Sarah away.
Reads, can you tag us? Did you take a picture of this cosplay? She cosplayed Brandy when she interviewed Chelsea.
Oh, that's amazing.
I have not seen any cosplays. Like, I imagine if I was going to do a cosplay, like, I have an idea of a look, but I don't have enough time to pull it off before Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Before Comic Palooza, because I only got, 2 months? I don't have enough time to pull it off, but I thought about doing a Brandy.
Like, that would be
really cool.
Amazing.
Yeah. Also, shout out to the fact that Chelsea's husband is like an A1 day one for real, because he said, can you believe someone had the nerve to say Jack and Brandy's relationship was unrealistic?
Look.
That's anti-Black.
It's extremely anti-Black, and I don't even want to go into it because I think I would just get extremely angry. And we're about the good times tonight.
That's super. All I'm gonna say is the only people who don't view it as realistic are the people who don't view us in fantasy in the first place.
Yes, 100%.
Because God forbid we got some good love. Also, speaking of, and I know that the second book is already done, but can we also? I'm still obviously on Jax. The scene where I'm trying to think. So they had gotten Sarah out of the place where she was supposed to be, and then they ended up at that inn, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Sarah left to go do whatever.
Are you talking about the scene where she like came back and they were having like really loud sex and she was really awkward?
Yes. Why
that
did that make
was
me
on
cackle
my
so
list
hard?
to talk about because the way I cackled
Me
and the
too.
reason that I got so much pleasure out of that scene, no pun intended, but maybe, is because remember when Jack first had Brandy in her little, her little town where she was hiding and like totally ruining that dude's life by pretending to love him.
Oh, we're gonna touch on that soon.
Remember when she saw Jack, she was like lusting after him. Remember that was like,
oh my God, that's right. Like
remember that was the
she
first.
Really thought she had a chance.
That was the first impression.
Sarah reads like a white woman. I'm so
that
sorry.
was the first impression between Sarah and Jack. Sarah was staring him down. I guess he had like, I don't think.
Oh yeah, because remember she healed him, but to heal him, he had to take off his shirt.
Yes,
that's right.
He was literally eyeing him down. And do you remember when he said he was just disgusted?
Yeah, which is another reason why I was standing Jack so hard.
He was literally disgusted by her admiration. He was like shuddering. He was like, oh my God, stop. I thought that was hilarious. So the fact that she had to listen to them made me so happy. I was like, yeah, girl, it's never going to happen between you and Jack.
I mean, never. She was genuinely oogling that man.
She was staring him down and he was like about to like throw up. He was so mad. He was so mad about it. I was like, damn.
Yeah. This is where I interject that I have the limited edition. I no longer call it the limited edition. I call it the spicier edition.
Oh.
Because all of the differences between the regular edition book and the limited edition book is literally spice.
Okay.
Just when you think like, when we're reading because I read the first time I read it, just as the regular book. So it's two scenes in the book. It's the scene with Brandy and Jax, and then it's the scene with Sarah and Noble.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how like when you're reading it, you can kind of imagine it going a little further.
Right.
So yeah, in the limited edition, they go further.
Okay. That makes sense. Got it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I feel like when it becomes an HBO series, it should be included.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there would probably be way more spicy scenes than if there was a HBO series. Let's be real.
Oh no, I'm like nobody else can get a hold of this script. It can only be HBO.
Oh, 100%.
I do not believe anybody else would do it justice. Also, my Apple Pencil is dead, so here we are.
I was like, what's going on? Okay, so the other spoiler that I wanted to talk about is the fact that, how the story starts is at the inn, and we have Lena and Kinley, and Lena's the older sister, and also the innkeeper's daughter, telling the story to her little sister about the goddess.
Oh, yeah.
Brandy is there, and we find out Brandy is there to kill their dad.
Which was hilarious because later on in the book,
This is the spoiler I want to talk about.
Yeah, I was like, can we talk? I really appreciate the continuity there because when I tell you, I was like, so we basically learned about these two little girls just so that she could kill her daddy. That's ruthless.
That's the part
back up later that like, yeah, she killed their daddy, but Lena did not care.
Well, not only did she not care, she was the one who gave him up.
Yeah.
Because remember, she was there on a mission from the queendom, as a shadow to assassinate him because he had been speaking like blasphemy about the goddess.
Blasphemy against the gods.
And so she was literally there to assassinate him. And the fact that she stayed in their inn, like sat by their fire, and then because she felt bad, so she gave the wife, the innkeeper, the woman, she was like, I'm gonna give her the best dreams. She's gonna have the best night of her life because I'm about to kill her husband. I was like, I'm dead. That part took me out, but that was the perfect setup of like, okay, so Brandy is ruthless. She's an assassin that actually kills people because she's killing someone. We're 3 pages in.
Period.
And there's a certain level of ruthlessness because she's like, I'm literally going to kill your dad, but I'm going to sit here and listen to you tell the story and smile and be like, yes, thank you. And freaking stay at your inn. I was like, this is
I think another part that made me laugh. Well, when I read that scene, when I tell you, first of all, I was confused because we had gone 0 to 100
so quickly. It was like page one.
But also, like when you go to the next chapter, it starts explaining everything. So, like, I wasn't confused for too long. It was more like, oh shit, okay.
It was just the perfect setup to introduce us to Brandy's character because right away we understood that she's ruthless. She is like somebody who does their job, no ifs, ands, or buts, and she feels no remorse about it because she will literally sit at your dinner table with you, potentially
smiling at your guest
room, and then sneak out to kill your husband. Like, what?
Again,
that was amazing.
I really appreciate the savagery.
It was just like the perfect setup for us to know what we were getting into. We're like, after I read that, I was like, alrighty then, I know. Okay, yes, all right, we are here. There was like no punches being pulled. I was like, all right, I'm ready.
Hold on, I gotta find a part that I said I was going to talk about.
While you're finding that, okay. I just wanted to interject and say, while everybody was hating Sarah, do you know who I hated?
Who?
Najee.
Her big sister?
Fucking hated that bitch. First of all,
back up.
First of all, Najee, how dare you play all 3 sides? The rebellion, the queen, like, bitch. Second of all, Najee was the reason why Jack got so hurt in the end because she was still following the orders of the queendom. She was playing both sides
the whole time, or just at the end where you were like, "Fuck this bitch."
Oh, once I realized that she was playing both sides, I think I started to have red flags about her when, in the beginning, when Brandy obviously was leaving the shadows and going against the shadows, and she was, she also had to protect Sarah, and that first shadow showed up the first 2 shadows showed up to kill her.
When she killed the lovers. First of all, that was savage.
When she killed the lovers, and then they were like, actually Najee is with us, and she was like, oh shit, because that she knows that Najee knows her better than anyone. That's when I first started to have like issues with her, because I was like, wait a second, isn't she supposedly your friend that's like a sister to you? Why the fuck is she leading the charge in your capture?
Especially considering everybody else that was close to her had literally like, what, Brandy's gone, so I'm gone too.
Exactly. Like Noble had her back. Like he never tried to betray her. He wasn't trying to play both sides. Like even Sarah is more loyal than Najee if you really think about it. Like this bitch, she was like, oh, well, I'll help you get away, but I still have to take their orders. Why do you have to still take their orders, ma'am? What's going on?
Because wasn't she like, her dad was like the big top dog, and she was going to be taking the place of her dad. So like she still had to be loyal.
But it's like, if someone asks you to kill your best friend, you have to make a choice.
Yeah.
I don't know. I fucking hated that bitch. I'm sorry. Maybe she gets redeemed.
When you bring up points like that and you bring them up like so ... about it, I'm like, you bring valid points. I was so fixated on my annoyance with Sarah that I didn't.
Well, she was literally the reason why Jack got captured in the end.
Yeah, by the end, I was like, fuck that bitch and the shit she claims. Like,
and then she had the audacity to be like, I'm so sorry, But I had to, like, bitch, you had to? Really? Really? You
Yeah.
had to? You did not
She
have
deserved
to.
to be got for so many reasons.
And then finally Brandy was like, you have to pick a side, bitch. You can't play the queen. You can't be on the queendom side and the rebellion side. And sometimes you helping me. And no. Whose side are you on? And she finally picked Brandy's side, but I was already like irritated with her because I was just like,
you were already done with her. So
no, I don't know if she can be trusted.
Well, remember, wasn't she the one that was like at the end? Freya was like, "Oh, I got something for that ass."
No, that was.
Oh wait, no, that was the one that she considered like a motherly figure.
Yeah, I can't remember her name. I want to say,
but also she fucking deserved it.
Oh, Glenn.
Yeah, like
yeah, I hated Glenn.
Seeing the fact that Freya is like beloved. Freya is beautiful. Freya is this, but Freya literally was like, and just in case you forgot who the fuck I am, like.
Yeah, I hated Glenn. But here's the thing. I had no expectations of Glenn because that bitch left Brandy and abandoned her to like have her own little vendetta of starting the rebellion. Like, you don't abandon somebody that you see as a daughter or somebody that
abandon the reincarnation. Like she knew she was the reincarnation.
Exactly. And she would have taken Brandy with her if she cared about her even a little bit. So I had no investment in her whatsoever. So at the end, when she got her judgment, I was like, okay, I don't give a fuck. Like
I just laughed. I was like, was it worth it, Glenn?
Right? That shit was hilarious. I was like, and that is what you get.
I just imagine like Freya was there, right? But like I imagine Brandy just sitting there next to her, like, did you see yourself, bitch?
Right? Sucks to suck. You chose to suck. Oh my gosh.
It sucks to be you.
Can we talk about? I know we're jumping all over the place, y'all. Sorry,
but it's a spoiler thing, so we jump where our thoughts go.
We're not going in any type of order, but can we talk about how shook I was when we found out then what's his face was not the apprentice? What the fuck was his name?
Oh,
one of the.
I literally referred to him as the Queen's bitch for most of the book.
Isn't his name like Bert? It started with
his name is Bert, which isn't any better, to be honest.
Talk about how upset I was that his name was Bert, because one of my favorite characters, two of my favorite characters of all time, are Bert and Ernie.
I should have known you were going to talk about Bert and Ernie.
Bert and Ernie are my boos. Okay, from childhood, we go way back to the cradle. So I was just like, not his name being Bert and ruining Bert for me forever.
No, I think the number one reason why I thought he was the one who did it was for two reasons. One, his name is Bert. Two, I thought he was just like hella salty that like not only could he not was his sperm not counting, but like he also didn't have any powers.
And can we talk about how refreshing it was to see infertility from the man's side?
Yes.
That was so refreshing, because I feel like a lot of times when couples can't have kids, the woman gets blamed a lot, whether it's her actual medical fault or not, the woman is still blamed.
Right.
And it was so nice to see that she's like, well, I got kids with all these other dudes, so it's definitely you, sir.
And not to mention, I really like that this queendom was a real queendom, and it wasn't like secretly men running it from behind the scenes. Like it was actually women running it.
I know. That was really refreshing. And how, like, if you were a consort of the queen, which I think she had 4, right?
You had 4 to represent each realm.
Then they had their own council. And it was like her sons and her lovers were on a council. And it's like, okay, yeah, you matter, but not.
Like, I guess y'all could be here.
It's like, you guys matter, but actually not really.
Yeah, it was like, well, y'all don't really have power, but like, I guess y'all can do some day-to-day stuff.
Right. It's like, just to make y'all feel important and to stroke your egos, we will give you this this little, I don't even know what to call it, a club, an exclusive club.
Right. I personally really love how powerless the men are. Like they were treated the way that women are mostly treated in fantasies when it comes to like a king.
100%.
Like, and that's another reason why I thought Bert did it. Because it's always the ones that you believe are weak that end up being the ones that like overthrow the whole monarchy type thing.
That's very true.
So I really genuinely thought it was Bert. So when we got to the end and it wasn't Bert, I was like, I'm sorry, wait, huh?
I know.
Sure? Are we sure it's not Bert?
I did not see that coming. And honestly, like, it's not like he was stupid. He was the one who created that like armor thing that repelled the god's powers, which I thought was really creative.
Again, I really thought we were getting ready to be revealed that he was the apprentice this whole time, and that's why he was infertile, because like he wasn't really trying to put nothing down on Earth. I literally had a whole theory in my head, whole theory.
But can we talk about how much sadder it was instead that he was just so sad that he couldn't have a kid?
I kind of liked that.
That was actually
that masculine and feminine were treated in a way that was so well-rounded.
Yes. It was really nice to see a man truly be sorrowful that he couldn't have a child, and how he like had gone to the temple with his doll to pray for a daughter. And I was just like, oh my God, this is actually really sad. And now I feel bad for Bert.
Nah, he's still a bitch in my eyes, but like, good job, Bert.
I just felt so bad for him. Like when he was like cowering on the ground, like clutching the doll. And I was like, oh, this poor guy.
I was like, they really must be like bagging on him hard, like in the royal court. Where they're like,
was like,
I'm gonna go hang out with my sons. What are you gonna go do?
Well, it was more like I produced a daughter, because you know the daughters are the ones.
Daughters were even better.
The daughters are the ones who are going to gain power. They just have to compete for it, and it's like, may the best daughter win. But it's like he didn't even have that. I was like, oh, I feel bad for him now. And like the pain of like infertility really affected him and made him bitter. Like Freya's like, he's bitter as fuck. I was like, this is so sad.
Right.
That doesn't take away from all the foolishness that he was perpetuating.
I mean, yeah, he still sucks, but
but my heart went out to him. I had
his motives were far different than what I thought his motives were.
Oh, 100%. I was like, oh my God, he just wants to be a dad. And this is sad.
Okay, here's another question from the comments. How did you guys feel about when Jack met Roth? It was one of my favorite scenes, but I'm Rothian, so I'm a little biased.
That was actually a really cool scene, because the whole book, we were told how devout Jack was.
Yes.
Like he was always praying. He would always do like his morning prayers and stuff like that. So when he actually met Roth, it was so amazing, because he was so shook.
He was shook.
He was shook to his core. He was like, oh my God, oh my God. And remember, he just was praying the whole time, and Roth had to be like, okay, thank you, my son. Yes. Okay.
Like, can we talk about how now that we said that like Winston Duke would beat Roth, like I imagine him sitting like very relaxed and being like, dude, chill.
Right.
Calm down. And meanwhile, Jack is in the thing like, holy shit, he's talking to me. Oh my God.
He's like flipping a fit.
I love this for him. Jack deserves to be able to meet his God. I love this for him.
That's exactly what it was. It's like when you meet your God and you're just like, this is the highlight of my life. This is the highlight of my existence.
However, that was another shock for me, that Roth had already chosen
Glenn
vessel.
The fact that his vessel was Glenn was so disappointing. Talk about using your power for evil.
But like, that's why when Glenn got punished, I laughed, because remember when we heard the story about when Asari blessed Sarah, he straight told her, if you don't protect, if you do not protect Brandy, I will come for you.
But here's the thing, Asari plays no games. I feel like Roth definitely gives more chances.
I don't.
Well,
I imagine Roth to be actually, I imagine Roth and Asari, when it comes to like the way that they view this whole ordeal that they have to go through with Freya, I truly believe both of them were ready to kill anybody that weren't following their instructions. Well, I just really wanted to know why. I just really wanted to know, like, I was like, dude, like Glenn, like when you left, because you know everybody, they all talk about like how they hear the gods and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, how are you even able to do that? Like,
That's what I'm
Everybody else talking
saying.
about how it's like an absolute struggle bus.
But here's the thing, like, well, that's true. That was a little odd because all the other reincarnations have this like feel this pull towards Brandy
Right.
that they
And she
just
just
can't like
left her.
abandon the mission. But that's why I said that Roth was more lenient than Asari, because Roth let Glenn get away with a lot. Like Glenn left the shadows, left Brandy behind for 10, what was it, 10 years? 12 years, something like that.
I think it was 12.
And
No, I
literally
think it was at least,
started
I know it was at least 10.
and literally started a whole full-on resistance rebellion situation that was growing, spreading all this misinformation or information, whatever the fuck she was doing. And I'm just like, that was very lenient, because if that was Sarah, Asari would have stricken her dead.
I mean, Asari had originally come to take her mama, so yeah, I guess you're right.
In 2 to 5 business days, Sarah would have been done.
In
She would
2
have
to
been passed
5 business days, ma'am.
She would have been passed away. Sorry, would have been like, I told you. I feel like Roth is more compassionate, or maybe he just wasn't paying attention, because didn't Freya like scold him like, you need to pay, like, what did Freya say?
That was when him and Asari were arguing, wasn't it? Honestly,
no, this was at the end when Glenn was being punished. I'm trying to remember exactly what happened.
I got books.
I'm going to the end right now because I feel like Freya was like, you need to be, maybe that was Bert, actually. I'm getting confused.
Okay, wait. So we're in Freya's domain.
Let's see. I'm going to go back. That's why you always have to have the book next to you to be like, what's going on? Dun, dun, dun. This is funny how we're trying to find this right now.
I know, we're so determined to like make this part right. Also, but we will say that there was the scene where Roth was basically asking Jax like basically like, how much do you love Brandy? And when dude was basically like, yeah, I'd totally fight you for Brandy.
Yes.
Like, again, Jax is bae. So there is no one else like Jax.
Okay, I think I found it. Let me see.
Okay, wait.
Oh, maybe it wasn't this. Maybe it was Bert, because I found the scene.
I really feel like it was her talking to Bert.
I think it was Bert too.
Yeah. That was Freya talking to Lindo about Bert.
You're right. Because to Roth, she just was like, you silly child of Roth. You would defile the power of my beloved and reject the love of my own incarnation. Serve the very mortals we created. You misunderstand us and overestimate our grace.
Right.
You're right.
That was where I really felt like she was basically like, oh no, sis, like, I don't think you know who we are.
Yeah, you're right.
And you're going to learn today. I cannot decide on the color palette for this.
Yeah, Roth gave Glenn a long rope to hang themselves with, and they did.
So. Yes, very much so. And I just feel like, because I was like, okay, the entire Shadows thing was actually created by Freya in a past life.
Yes.
And so going against it, at first I thought, because once they like revealed that part of the story, I was like, so isn't going against the Shadows, well, not the new Shadows, because once you try to kill Brandy, you're not a part of it, like the whole mood anyway. So I know the gods don't care anymore. Like once you decided you was gonna try to kill Brandy, it was like, do whatever you want to them, because they're trying to kill the reincarnation.
Right. But here's the thing. Here's the part that, like, I think I'm just now starting to dawn on me. And I'm a little shook.
Uh-oh.
The queen wanted Brandy dead.
Yes.
Because
remember, Bert wanted Brandy to kill Sarah. Brandy refused and instead left to go retrieve Sarah to hide her. And that's considered basically like leaving the military without permission. And the consequence for that was death.
I guess it didn't fully hit me. For some reason, I was thinking like, oh, I don't know why I disconnected the two things.
Interesting.
Because I knew she was on the run, and obviously I knew they were after her, trying to kill her. But for some reason, I did not, like, I disconnected the fact that the queen wanted her dead. I'm like, oh, hold on.
Speaking of the second time that Brandy done saved Sarah's ass, let me tell you another reason why I don't like Sarah. Because you know, you've had time to think and come to the conclusion that you actually like her. The more I think about it, the more I really can't stand that bitch.
Oh
So
my
remember when Brandy was telling her off, basically calling her an ungrateful little...
That was crazy. Brandy was basically like, you have had the privilege to sit on your ass and not take responsibility for yourself, your actions, or your life. Some of us don't have that, and our parents killed themselves and left us alone. So sorry, man.
Remember, the only reason that Brandy got caught and got put in the shadows is because she saved Sarah and her little brother.
Yes.
So it was like when I tell you, when I read that part, I was like, Sarah and I would have come to blows.
Well, it's just that place where like Sarah is like, oh, woe is me. But it's like, but Sarah, look at, like, you were able to escape. You were able to find a home. You were able to set up a whole new life where you could live incognito for X amount of time. And no one bothered you. And you grew up in relative safety. And you were able to con a man into feeling that he loved you. So he protected you. Meanwhile, Brandy had her whole childhood taken away from her because she literally had to learn how to kill people at like 5 years old.
Right.
Like, ma'am.
I was like, read the room, Sarah. Read the freaking room.
Yeah,
because her little every 2 seconds, it's like, oh my God. This is so hard for me. I can't believe this is happening to me. And it's like, do you realize that Brandy risked her life again for your dusty ass? And yet again, you are over here just trying to paint this picture that you're this most like docile, you know, misunderstood creature. Meanwhile, you done tricked Kyle into thinking you loved him for like, what, 10 years?
It was really messed up.
And then at the end, you broke that man's heart and had the audacity to ask him to take care of your brother. And this man loved you so much that he actually agreed.
Yes. He loved her so much he agreed. And you know, the crazy thing is, the part about Sarah that really annoys me, even though I do like her character, is when Brandy was like, girl, you were in hiding for over a decade. You had time to like learn skills to protect yourself. You must have known that one day they would come for you.
Right.
You can't hide forever. But you chose to bury your head in the sand. You didn't even learn how to shoot an arrow. You didn't learn how to fight. You didn't get, you didn't exercise so you could be strong. You didn't do anything.
Yep.
I was like, you know what? That is kind of true. It's almost like she is that damsel in distress stereotype, and she was just depending on Kyle to protect her and save her. And she never thought twice about gaining the skills to save herself. So I'm interested to see how her character is going to develop in the next book. Like, is she going to start standing up basically and realizing that she needs to take control and try to save herself?
I feel like that would be far too much of a character stretch for Sarah, because at the end of the day, Sarah does not take responsibility for anything that happens to her. She thinks that the world happens to her, not that she exists in the world.
Because remember when they were going to Tara's house and there was like that crazy rainstorm and Sarah couldn't hack it, and she literally caused Brandy to like fall down a hill several times. And I was like, and how everybody was so over her by the time they got to Tara's house. They were so over this girl.
I'd have been done with her ass too, though. Like,
and I was like, damn, she can't even like hike. Like the most basic things. Walk long distances. Can't do.
Walk. That was the requirement. Walk.
Seriously.
So and she was like, this is hard.
I know. And like, you're reading from her perspective, and she was just like, I just never had this. I don't have the stamina for this. I've never had an opportunity where I had to learn. And I'm just like, oh my God.
It was, reading from her perspective made me hate her more.
Really?
Because at least from like Brandy's perspective, it was like, yeah, we're all annoyed with Sarah, whatever. But Sarah literally made it seem like her not keeping up with them was the most dire thing that could ever possibly happen to her. And no one was showing her any mercy, but she's been fighting for this for her whole life. And she's had to deal with nothing but strife of living by herself with her rich dude. I was like, I'm so tired of Sarah. Sarah is so delusional.
Yeah, she was hard to sympathize with for sure.
I refuse to sympathize with her. Like, I really wanted to scream at her, like, shut up, bitch.
I'm dead.
Like, you, like, she saved you. Jackson, leave your ass there. You better say thank you.
That's why, like, I hope she does a sorry right and, like, steps up.
Yeah.
You know?
My expectations are very low for her character, but since she is, like, the lost princess or whatever, I'm hoping that this calls in, because we do learn that, like, the queen that's currently, like, reigning or whatever, the only reason that she won is because her sister basically just gave up. Like, didn't fight it, didn't do nothing.
Well, she knew her sister would win the bid for the queendom because her sister was more popular than her. So what she did is she made it. I can't remember what she did. I can't remember if she killed off a bunch of people or something that were part of her council. I can't exactly remember what happened, but she basically set it up so that the people that would have voted for her sister and, like, given her the favor to win the bid for the queendom, she made it so they, like, weren't there anymore. Like, either she killed them or assassinated them, like something happened to that effect.
Right.
I can't remember the details, but basically she did it. She didn't win the queendom through the legitimate means.
No, she definitely made her own rules. She definitely did. It was all her own translation of what was supposed to happen.
And the part that made my heart really go out to Sarah is, like, when she was learning that her parents were killed by
shadows,
but specifically, wasn't it Glenn? Well, her parents weren't killed by Glenn.
Yeah, it was Glenn.
But Glenn went to their house and was like, look.
There we go. That's what happened. She won because she killed her consorts, making her ineligible for the crown.
Yes, thank you. That's exactly what happened. So she went it through underhanded means. But like, Sarah would always be in these, like, vulnerable moments when she'd be learning information about her family and how they died, and it's like she just had to swallow it and take it. And my heart went out to her because I can't imagine, like, just someone casually just, like, talking about your parents' murders and just being like, oh yeah, and this happened, and you just have to, like, take it and swallow it down. Like, that's crazy.
Okay, so from that particular perspective, I can say that moment of mental strife must have been difficult for Sarah.
Because remember, didn't she have, like, a whole breakdown and, like, Noble had to be there for her?
Yes.
Like, that sucks.
Noble just being nice. Brandy still didn't deserve, or not Brandy, Sarah still didn't deserve that, but whatever.
I just felt for her. My heart went out to her because I was just like, I can't even imagine what that must have been like.
Here's another one. Can we discuss how only 2 shadows were dumb enough to try to go after Brandy?
I know, the rest of them were like,
no, it was 2 shadows and a rookie. Remember? Because it was the 2 girls and then the dude that was wearing Bert's armor.
Oh, yeah. And he only did it because he had the armor, so he felt, he felt like, okay, I can do this because her arrows won't be able to hit me. Can we talk about the 2 shadows and how, like,
that was the scene where I actually fell in love with Brandy.
That scene was so dramatic. That scene was dramatic AF. Like, she killed like the more skilled one and left the less skilled one.
No. She killed her without seeing her, and she waited for her to speak and then literally one-shotted her.
Well, no, what happened is I can't remember their names, but there was one that was more skilled and one that was less skilled.
Yes.
And they were hiding. And the less skilled one or the dumber one gave them away by talking.
Yes.
Gave their position away. So then she killed the more skilled one. The less skilled one was all like, "Oh my God, you killed my lover, blah, blah, blah."
It was her sobbing.
That shit was so dramatic.
Her location. And Brandy's just taunting the shit out of her. And I'm like,
that shit was dramatic as fuck. And then Brandy was like,
cold-blooded. You done killed her bae.
I know.
She knows she's about to die. And then here you go, taunting her before you kill. Oh my God, I loved it.
It was crazy.
I was like, am I a cruel person for finding enjoyment in the way that she decided to do this?
I just thought it was crazy because they were like her ex-coworkers. She was like, "Yeah, I know these hoes." I'm like,
yeah, but she said she was basically like everybody was like, "Well, nobody else was gonna come after you." I'm like, well, why did you?
Yeah, that wasn't a good decision.
It was like, so nobody else was like, "Oh yeah, I'll totally take this job." So why did you?
Right. That shit was crazy.
You did it with Bae. So what were you thinking?
What were you thinking?
Just, are you mad?
Right?
Are you dumb?
Right?
Now you're dead.
Ooh, that shit was crazy.
How do you guys feel about Pine?
Who?
Pine. She is when we went to Lyndall's domain, she was the little information chick.
Oh, I always picture her like a fairy or like a little sprite.
Too. She gives me such pixie vibes.
And that's why her name like took me out of it, because that name doesn't fit her like personality. But I like her a lot. I love how like she was getting jealous of Sarah because she was just like, "Wait a second, Brandy, you're my BFF. What's going on?
I love her so much.
To this pale ass hoe. Like, pay attention to me." I was like, oh my God.
She was like, "I'm the one who has information. She doesn't. Like, you're gonna want to talk to me, not her."
And you know what?
She's here.
Pine is yet another reason why I hate Najee yet again. Because Pine was literally like, "I got your back. What do you need? I will literally go to the ends of the realm to get the information for you, girl. I got you, girl. You know, I'm here with you. We're here. We're like this. We're like this." And meanwhile, Najee is just, you know, pretending to be her sister while also pretending to work for the Shadows, while also pretending to be a part of the Resistance, while also like, the fuck?
Ooh, your hate for Najee keeps coming back in really good points.
I don't know if it's like hate. I feel like that's very strong, but I'm giving her the side eye. And like, I feel like it's one of those situations where even in the book, Brandy said, when she made Najee choose a side, she even said, like, "I don't have time to process this right now. Like, I don't have time to process the fact the love of my life almost got killed because of you. You gave away our location. Every time the Queendom calls for you to like sick people on us, because all of the other shadows, like that war that was happening at the end, where all the other shadows knew where they were, that was because also Najee gave them away."
Yes.
So Brandy literally was like, "I don't have time to process all of the shit that you've done right now. Like, I literally am going to have a mental breakdown later, but you need to pick a side."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh my gosh, is this a friendship breakup about to happen?" Because
it was definitely a friendship breakup happening.
And you want to know something even worse? Najee had to think about her answer.
He did. Oh my God.
Your supposed sister and best friend, and you have to think about your answer.
Yeah.
Look, I don't care what y'all say about Sarah. This girl
is still fuck Sarah every day. But Najee, she need to get slapped a little across the face and then some. Because you bringing up good points here that I had not even considered yet.
I'm sorry, if you're my best friend and like you shouldn't have to think about your answer when I'm asking you if you have my back or you're just gonna let me be killed.
To be honest, I shouldn't have had to ask you that question in the first place.
Okay. Anyways, let me not. I'm just getting more and more upset the more we talk about her.
Because you were like, speaking of, another reason why I hate that bitch.
Like every other person on the squad is so loyal, except for
They
this
are. They are blindly loyal. Okay. Did you catch how they use matching piercings instead of wedding rings?
I like that.
I did. I thought it was even more. Again, cannot stress this enough. I think that they are absolutely adorable. I really liked every character's relationship to Brandy. I felt like, well, I'm talking about the core people and then a couple of the side characters. I felt like each one of their relationships matched their personalities very well too.
Yes.
So it was like, yeah, this is adorable. Like, this is really cute. But also, like, obviously, I have not talked about my favorite fuckboy
Noble
in this. But I need to talk about Tara and what he did to Tara and how Tara got red for Philip.
I'm so sorry, but I do not feel bad for Tara.
So I don't feel bad for Tara because we've all had a Noble. But when homie was basically like, I mean, I did pay you.
That was wild. I was like, but you know what though?
Like, hands down, Noble is I was like, Noble is a top tier fuckboy because he really said, girl, I already paid you with my dick.
But this is what that said to me. Because remember Tara's brother, and I can't remember his name, the one who has like a hard on for Sarah.
Russ.
He was like, Noble is a lot more complicated than people think. People look at him and they see his looks and they just run, and they see his looks and his charm and how flirtatious he is, and they run with that. Mm-hmm. And he was almost accusing Sarah of being shallow because he was like, you literally lust after him for who you think he is. You have no idea who he actually is. And it's like sad because nobody knows who he actually is. So when he said that to Tara, that actually made my heart break for Noble, because I was like, how little must you think of yourself as a person?
Dang.
To prostitute yourself for like as like an exchange. Like, you think so little of yourself that you think that's all you have to offer.
Dang, Ocean.
That broke my heart for him.
I was like, did he really say he paid with his penis? Like, oh.
My heart broke for him because I was like, oh my God. And then we don't know that much of his backstory. We just know that like his brother left, and we don't even know. We get to like his brother comes back up, but we don't really get to spend a lot of time with him.
Remember how we don't get a lot of Jack's or Noble's story.
We get a
little bit more of Sarah and obviously Brandy, because Brandy was connected in all of their stories. But like, I would have actually, I still really want to know more about Noble, because there were multiple times in the story where it was basically like reminding us that like there's more to him than we see, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So like, while I laugh and like kind of love his fuckboy nature, because I still think that was super savage and it made me actually laugh. Like, while I was reading the book, there was a full audible laugh that left my spirit during that whole interaction, because Tara's anger about it was one of those things where I was like, girl, you knew what it was.
Not only
are you embarrassed because he said it in front of people? Because this isn't his first time doing this. You even said like, why should I be shocked? Like, you know, you only come here when you want something. So like, if you knew that, like, why are you so shocked that he actually said it?
Again, for me, I didn't feel bad for Tara, because again, I felt like it was that same superficial thing with Sarah of like, oh, their names even rhyme, Tara and Sarah, of like, they only want him because of the way that he looks and his projection of himself. But Tara don't know that man. That's why Noble did not give two fucks. He was just like, this bitch does not know me.
I thought they had known each other since they were kids because they're from the same domain.
That doesn't mean that she knows him though.
Yeah, you're right.
Because even when they suspected Russ of being like not a traitor, but they suspected him of not being who he said he was, when he, you know, when he knew that Sarah was a princess and nobody was supposed to know that.
Right.
And and Brandy was literally about to kill him, and Noble was just watching. And Russ was like, oh my God, Noble, you have changed.
Well, I mean, he really told him like, this is your fault. Like,
Well, yeah, when he realized that Noble was just gonna let him get killed, he was like, I don't know him. I thought I knew him and I thought we were best friends, but I don't know him. So it's just like, that doesn't, I don't know. That was just the vibe I got, was like, to him, Tara is just another hole. No offense to her. But
I'm sorry.
It's just like, this bitch does not know who I am. She doesn't give a fuck about me. So yeah, I paid for the services that I wanted. It is what it is. And meanwhile, she's like, "Oh my god!"
He was so hurt. But then
it was so fake.
She's like being threatened by those shadows, and obviously Brandy comes in and cleans house without even a second guess.
Yes.
And like, girl is like traumatized, and she's basically like, I mean, what exactly are you doing? Like, Noble just used you, and you sitting here looking pathetic. Like, get up. Basically, get up. Brandy gave her a bitch stand up and stop tripping speech.
She did. Because it's just like, okay, Tara, you need to wake up from your delusion, because how often do you see this man? Like every winter? Like, I don't understand. Like, clearly you don't see him often. He doesn't care. He's not sending you like letters via carrier pigeon or whatever you get in your domain.
Pigeon.
He's not communicating with you when he's not like stopping by randomly when he needs something. So it's like that place where like the bubble needed to be burst.
Right.
And you need to realize that this is not real.
Yeah. But like, she was really living in like this whole new delusion.
She was living in a whole delusion.
At the end, when it was time to leave, and she was like, "Do not come back."
Yeah, she finally.
Back, I will kill you.
She finally took her power back.
I was like, this scene was so, like, I'm not saying, like, I obviously have a special place in my heart for Tara, not for the dumb things that she did in the name of Dick, but because she was an engineer in STEM. You know, anytime there's a STEM girl in the book, I love it. But this STEM girl actually was, you know, getting some dick thrown her way. Not the best type of dick, but nonetheless,
she was dignified.
Stereotype, and I was very happy with that. But when she told that man, "Don't come back," and he was like, "Are you serious?" I was like, Noble, baby. So like, you know, you ain't been treating her well.
He knew good and well, but you know, he's not used to hearing no, and he's
really not used to hearing no, because he was actually shocked that she was like, "We're done. If you come back here, I will kill you."
Yes, he was shook.
And I was just like, that's how you know he really been out here living a reckless life.
He's not used to being rejected, and he's not used to being ignored.
Right. I was like, okay. I was like, good job, Tara. You stood up. You had to get a pep talk from Brandy and almost die. But like, good for you for finally standing up in the end, sis. We love to see it over here, because you was really slipping.
Can we talk about how Brandy does not blink an eye about killing her coworkers? Because those two dudes, those brothers that showed up, that showed up to try to terrorize Tara to get her to do what they wanted her to do, and she was like, no. And then they try to like basically like assault her, and Brandy was like, ugh, now I gotta kill them.
I know. It was like, I'm gonna watch and see what they do. Ugh. Now they gotta die.
She was like, oh, I know these niggas. I know them.
And then it was like, they gotta die. But also, I feel like that's the kind of energy we always need to have, because if a man does not accept no and turns into a creep, it is like, we're no longer friends.
And that's literally what she said. She was like, no means no, as she's like killing them. I'm dead.
I was like, thank you, Brandy. Again, I stan Brandy. This is a Stan Brandy account, because Brandy was loyal, strong, cocky, could back up her cocky, killed people with no remorse. Like, none. When we talk about fantasy books that have women as assassins.
Yes.
When we talk about that kind of shit, this is what we're talking about. Like, this is the type of level, like, do not tell me that you are a world-class assassin and that everybody knows your name and da-da-da-da. No, like, Brandy is so good. She's basically a myth to these people until she shows up where you know you're going to die.
Yes.
That wasn't something that was just told to us. Time and time again, Brandy took bodies.
Oh, yeah.
With no remorse. Just bloop, bloop, bloop. Die.
Zero remorse. She was just kind of like, well, had to send him to the gods. Anyway, who wants lunch?
Right. She was like, this threw us off schedule. Like, do you think you'll be able to get it done? Do you need a moment?
Right. That was so funny.
I was like, not do you need a moment?
Hilarious.
I was like, thank you, Brandy. Thank you for being strong, but also being loved. And then thank you, Jax, for like loving her so ferociously. Thank you, Noble, for loving her in a completely different way.
Yes.
And then, you know, I guess, Sarah, you're still trying to grapple your actual feelings for her because like Asari got your feelings thick. So I guess I'm going to give you that slay, I guess.
Well, Sarah is like that girl who's your friend that is actually secretly hating on you and jealous of you, but still your friend at the same time. It's like a mix of emotions.
It's like I can understand some of the things that Sarah went through, but I'm not willing to cut her any slack.
Oh, no, don't cut her any slack. She needs to evolve as a character and become a better person or a worse person, whichever way she chooses to go to be interesting.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't like her. I still don't like her. Can't really figure out a way to be like, oh, no, she's not bad. No, fuck her.
Right.
Fuck her with my whole spirit. Yeah. But also, so I never got to read you this thing because I made you go to bed last time. So in the limited edition, you know, the bar scene.
Yeah.
And you know how Noble like basically pushes her up against the wall by the elevator.
Yes.
And she is literally hot, heavy, and bothered.
Oh, she's so bothered.
Well, good thing we're not monetized. So in the book, in the limited edition, basically he says that he's hungry.
Yeah.
And so you know how she doesn't really understand
when he says
that he's hungry?
Yeah.
In the limited edition, at this point, he proceeds to take her into the bathroom, locks the door, puts her on the chase that's in the bathroom, and then feast.
Oh, so she actually got something.
Yeah, she did.
See, now that would have been a scene I would have enjoyed reading.
Listen, when I read it, I was like, Oshaleigh would fucking love this scene.
I would be in my happy place with that scene.
I was like, man, Noble, I don't want you to end. I don't want you to be with Sarah. I actually do not like that pairing at all.
I'm starting to kind of ship it now.
No, even this is the thing.
You're like, no, stay strong. Stay strong.
Yeah, no, I don't want it. So I won. Obviously, I'm like, damn, Sarah, like, girl, that man turned you out in the. Oh, this is the part that kills me about that scene.
Okay.
So after he's finished, and you know, she's hot, heavy, and ready for more than just his mouth.
Yes.
Because just with his mouth, he had to remind her to be quiet.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So at the end, he's like reminding her to be quiet. Right?
And it needs to be available in the regular edition.
Listen, this is the part that's like, when I tell you open mouth cackle, guess who knocked on the door?
Who?
Just take a guess.
I don't know.
All the characters that we have been presented by that scene.
Was it Russ?
Was
it Russ?
Yep, it was Russ.
Oh, that makes me sad for him.
He tells Sarah to go into the bathroom stall. And like Sarah goes into the stall and like gets herself together. But I mean, she still looks disheveled, essentially, because like she just got she finished. She got her whole entire world, basically is the like YouTube version of me saying this.
Lord.
Noble opens the door and he's like, oh, I'm looking for Sarah. He's like, oh, she was a little flustered, so like I bought her in here. And he basically was like, have fun.
And he just left her in there with Russ?
So Sarah comes out of the bathroom stall and tries to act like nothing just happened. And Russ is looking at her like, are you all right?
Did she play it off? Why are you cackling? Oh my God, Brittany.
Because that was some fuckboy shit. And I found that so funny. I was like, sir, no, you did not have this woman
beside herself.
And then you open the door to the dude that's obviously crushing on her.
Oof.
And then you walk out like you didn't just have her in your mouth.
Like, he's just like, just another day in my life. Moving on to the next fuckboy thing.
I was like, you know what? I know I'm not supposed to love him, but I love him so much.
Damn.
Because there's just this air of like he just knows he can get away with some shit.
Oh yeah, I mean, I love him. He's a great character.
Him. Like he is my favorite side character. Like, granted, I obviously still love Jax, but Noble is my favorite.
He's unapologetically himself, which I appreciate.
He really is.
Like,
and
unapologetic.
It is so savage. It's just like, oh my God. But that scene in the limited edition, I was like, okay, Brandy. Because I obviously imagine Noble to be really, really attractive. I'm like, that sounds like a lucky bitch moment.
It is.
Like,
might be the only moment she gets with him.
Good for you. Because woo, girl.
It might be the only moment.
Next time he says he's hungry, you should understand what he means. Okay, sis. All right.
Well, I'm curious now to see what happens between them in book 2. I'm very curious.
I don't know. Like, I feel like they're gonna, like, my prediction is that maybe she will get Noble to break down a wall or two to explain why he chooses to be so detached in his like connection to people. I think that's as far as I'm happy to go. I don't want them to be together.
Here's the thing. I would be okay with it as long as she actually starts liking him for who he is.
Right.
Because right now it's just lust because of he's, good looking.
And she ain't really seen much.
And she just had Kyle, which sounds really depressing.
Which apparently was not great.
And she was faking that. So it's kind of like, okay, I get it. Like, you're sexually attracted to him. If you actually start liking him for more than just how he looks, then I will be supportive.
Yeah. It was one of those things where I'm like, I feel oddly protective about Noble's character. And I just don't feel like Sarah is worthy of him. And
she's definitely not worthy.
What he does in the book, it's like, should be saying the opposite, but it's something about Noble's character that I'm just like, I'm about to be so sad in this next book about Noble, aren't I?
Wait, what do you mean?
I don't know, because it's about to go, like, we obviously know they're about to go into battle or whatever, and like Noble is strong or whatever, but Noble's brotherly devotion to Brandy is very serious.
Yes, it is. It's very intense.
And like, I believe it. They're not related, but even the way that she talks to Noble,
yes,
is like, it is a very true, like, brotherly, sisterly love thing going on there.
Yeah, they're bonded.
Yeah. And so it's like, well, I understand that it's because like he's also like a vessel of a god. But I truly believe even without it, that there is a level of like wanting to make sure that she's okay.
There is. I think so.
It's like, I don't know. My soul isn't ready. And then Ben just wrote in the comments that says, all I'm going to say is read book 2 with the eye roll emoji. And I'm so concerned.
All right. Well, that is me now emotionally starting to detach from Noble so I don't get my heart broken.
Right? Okay. It's like,
so much for that.
Scared. I'm so scared. No, we're not doing this. All right.
Great.
No.
Great.
But also, I will say, when it was revealed that Jax was taken, I was pissed.
Yeah, that's why I hate Najee. Sorry to bring it full circle moment.
I'm about to say, no matter what I say, we are going to bring it back full circle to why you hate her.
Because guess why he was taken? Guess what? Guess what?
It's like, I'm going to take a guess. Starts with an N, maybe.
Like, I think we know why.
Because at that point of the book, I felt like we went 0 to 100.
We did.
in the story. And I think the reason why we went 0 to 100 is because Brandy went 0 to 1,000.
She did.
Brandy was like, I don't give a fuck about nothing else.
Yup.
Like, oh, what? Word? Nope. I will kill everyone in here if you do not tell me where he is.
She was like, oh, is this what we're doing? Oh, is this what we're doing? Okay.
Yeah, that, again, the devotion between the two of them is just
it's so pure.
Nice.
So pure.
Like, I was in my head, I was like, I swear to God, if they kill him in this book, I don't know if I'm going to read the second.
You know what's interesting? I actually had no fear that he was going to die. I was like, there's no way.
So I actually thought he could possibly die because that would have been one hell of a catalyst.
That would have. You're right.
Remember, he still wasn't a vessel by then.
You're right.
So, like, that would have been a purely, like, death to fuel Brandy type death.
Yeah, Brandy would have become the wrath of the gods all the way, okay?
Like, she would have been the only part of Freya she would have embodied was death.
You're right.
So, I was really just sitting there like, oh, shit. Because it could happen. Granted, while I was reading this section, I didn't realize how close I was to the end of the book. Because I was kind of, like, zoned out at that point. Like, I was legit just, like, I was enthralled. Like, once we got to the bar scene, I was like, and then, like, they were, Sarah and Brandy were, like, getting followed. I was like, oh, shit. Who the fuck is following them? What's happening? And then when Jax was gone, I was like, wait, I'm sorry, you took Jack? When did y'all have time to do this?
Seriously, like, when did this happen?
Oh my gosh. Fun fact, in previous versions, this was definitely Jack's final curtain call. I told you.
Look.
Chelsea, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for not doing that.
That would have been horrible.
I would have been devastated. Like, there would have been probably a physical reaction.
It would have been real bad.
Yeah, I would have been devastated.
Wow.
I told you it gave that vibe that it could have been.
Your intuition was spot on.
I was like, I think that's why I was like, I'm going to finish the book tonight because I can't pause now that he's missing. Because if I come back to this book and this man is dead, I'm done.
Right?
I'm done because Brandy gonna kill everybody.
Oh my God. That would have taken me all the way out. I would have been like, okay, so we're going into the dark. Like, she's about to be on her revenge shit.
Guys, like, she's like, everybody gonna die. Like, pew, pew, pew. Everybody gonna die.
Ooh.
I mean, because she had already threatened everybody at that point, too.
Yes.
So I really thought, I was like, so this is how the war is about to start.
Then, like, Najee is going to be the first one to fight it.
Najee was going to die first. Yep, that's what I really thought. I thought they were about to battle it out and that she was going to return Rose Blessing back to Rose. That's really what I thought.
Wow.
So thank you for not doing that.
Yeah, that would have been horrible.
I was trying to mentally prepare my heart, but I couldn't get it there because I was really just like, man, he's about to die so soon.
Damn, I wouldn't have been ready. I would have been in shock.
Yeah.
Because I was like, no, he's not going to die. No.
How do you feel about the shaders in battle?
Oh my God.
Shaders. I would actually like one as a pet.
I told you I wanted one. That's why I'm going to live in what's-his-face's domain.
Oh, that's right. You did say that.
That's the only reason I want to live there. Okay, can we talk about how her Tiki was like, oh my gosh, can I eat them, please? And Brandy was like, feast away. I was like, oh my God.
I was like, they were like gentle cats to full-blown wolves.
Tiki was like, I just want to eat.
But her asking for permission to do it was top tier.
I just want to eat some humans.
And then it was like when they finally get to Freya's realm and it's just like, yeah, it's about to go down. Enjoy.
That was amazing.
And then, especially since everybody else fears the shaders, like, imagine going to battle, thinking you finna battle some people, and then the thing from your nightmares is the thing that you see your person in front of you get eaten by.
Yeah, that's when I would have had to run away.
It's good. I'm good. Like,
I would have been out.
This battle isn't for me. Is really how it would have went down. Like, whoop, that. You don't got to worry about me. You do not have to worry about
right?
me.
It's like, I'm out. Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity, but I'm out.
Like, thank you, bye.
It's like, I might actually lose my mind, so I gotta go.
I mean, even the description of like how the shaders chose to eat them.
Oof. Ripping off arms. Can you imagine being eaten as your like final curtain call? I'm sorry. I just can't.
No. It's the part that makes it funny and terrible at the same time. Again, I love violent fantasies. So like the fact that there's like this mythical creature like ripping throats out, I fully support. But again, this is basically like a shadow looking creature.
Yes.
And then he goes from shadow creature to like blood.
Yes.
That's the last thing you saw.
Oof.
Before you got sent back to the gods.
Oof. Oh, there was one last thing I wanted to talk about that I feel like we touched on, but we didn't fully touch on the level of savagery that this was.
Oh, yes. Let's talk.
Rewind back to the beginning when we met Lena and her little sister.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Then fast forward to the end when we find out that Lena dedicated her life to Brandy as well and went into the school, the academy, so that she could learn more.
That's right. When she went to the Lindo Academy.
Can we talk about how we find out Lena was the one who gave her dad's name up to be killed?
By the time we had gotten to that point, I felt like it was very clear that everyone that was truly in Brandy's corner, there was a level of devotion to not only Brandy, but to the gods.
That shit was crazy.
So hearing her be like, it's cool.
Because I was like, Brandy killed your dad. Like, why are you cool with her? And why are you like working for her? Like, I'm so confused. And then she was like, well, I was the one that, and I'm like, huh?
Well, she said she didn't want her mom and her sister caught in the crossfires.
But still, like, okay, I understand that you're just, you know, in your element right now with this savage fantasy. So, girl, this is not normal.
Like, that's up for debate in my mind.
Not Lena giving up her daddy to be assassinated.
In my mind, I was like, that measures out in my mind.
Exactly what he just said. But her dad wasn't wrong.
Oh, okay. So that's where I thought you were going with this. I was like, but can we talk about how like she was the one to like reveal the part of the story that like got to that point? Because we really spent most of the book not really knowing who the antagonist, or the true antagonist of the story is.
Yes.
But she's the one who actually kind of finds the information that starts the storytelling where we get the true story of what happened. The irony of that is wild.
Wild.
And she still felt no remorse, by the way.
None. She was just like, well, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. I was like, damn, not your own daddy, girl. You give no fucks.
She said it had to be him because it wasn't finna be her mama, and her sister.
Right? Ooh, and she was like, and she took it as an opportunity to get out of that small podunk town and go to school.
Again, I'm not truly mad. I know that what you're saying, like technically it's like, no, that was wild.
Like, my jaw was on the ground. I was like, wait, what?
I loved it. Because again, I believe like every character that involved themselves with Brandy on that level, like they all have like a very serious devotion to the gods.
They do.
So I was like, I mean, yeah. Oh, yeah. How do you feel about Leah and Sarah's meeting? Because I had fun writing her freak out. Again, every person that met Sarah, everyone's initial like meeting with Sarah was comical to me in different ways. Because like, again, Jax, disgusted with her. Not a fan.
I know.
Noble.
Well, Noble tried to seduce her, and then when that didn't work, he was like, all right, whatever.
Right. It's like he just did his typical like fuckboy behavior. And so
he only started to pay attention to her again when
her cookies, so it's neither here nor there, but whatever.
Well, he only started to pay attention to her again when she started flirting with Russ.
Yes. Because again, he only operates on fuckboy level. Also, I think it was one of those things. That's why Russ knocking on the door after he was done feasting is so comical to me.
Lord,
because in a way, it almost seemed like he just did it because he knew he could.
Now I kind of hope she ends up with Russ because he actually really likes her.
Yeah, I hope she ends up with no one, but I'm also pretty evil.
Damn, not no one.
Also, and this is another thing. So, because this is a thing, like she literally had to run for her life because she was a lost princess. So my theory is that's about to play into the storyline major. But you know what we haven't really talked about, even now after gushing about all these random things, you know what we still haven't talked about?
What?
The timekeeper dude. The timekeeper apprentice?
I know, but like, I don't like him.
You're not supposed to, so that makes sense.
I'm just like, ugh.
I was just like, why? Why did you have to come in here? Why are you here?
The way he just like showed up and was like, "Mohaha! Now you play by my rules." I was like,
I'm so mad you Count Dracula'd him.
That's basically what he did. He was like very like Mr. Magneto about everything.
I don't understand his motives.
His motives is that he's mad that the gods are gods and that the time people or whatever they're called are not gods. That's what it comes down to.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. Cause I'm just like, I just don't understand why you're so pressed. But then at the end, when it was basically like, all right, well, I'm gonna put my people against your people and we'll see who comes out on top. Basically,
it's funny because
the gods basically gave like their whole power sort. I don't know how to describe this.
Well, they signed a piece of paper where it was a rule that they were no longer immortal. Mm-hmm. So because they were no longer immortal, their power, they couldn't hold the same level of power. And because now they are now affected by time. Because the thing about the gods is they existed outside of time, which is why time had to show up and start time for the mortals, because to them, there is no time. So when you exist outside of time, you don't age, you don't die, you don't do anything like that. So time kind of one-upped them and was just like, you're going to sign this and we're going to make this rule that y'all don't exist outside of time anymore. You guys are now subject to time, so you're no longer immortal and you can no longer have these powers and you can now be destroyed. You can now be killed. So their what am I trying to say?
The only reincarnation is Brandy.
Right now.
Yeah.
Well, literal incarnations. The other
literal incarnation, yeah.
The other ones are, but they're not literal.
Yeah.
So that's how they became the origin of the new era of gods.
Yeah, because at that point in the book, again, wasn't really paying attention, was fully zoned out. And when she sat on the thing, was like, I guess we are the origin. I was like, no, you do not get to quote the title to me and end the book here. You do not get to do that. That is so fucked up.
That was actually pretty boss. I was like, this is a boss move. I love this.
I was mad because again, I wasn't paying attention. You know how normally when you read books, like you're getting close to the end, so like things have to get wrapped up.
Yeah.
I was heavily engrossed because I listened to the end via audiobook instead of reading it.
Oh, okay.
Because I liked hearing the gods' voices. Like again, if you have the chance to listen to audiobook, the gods sound ethereal in the audiobook. So I just really liked that. So I was like, I just want to hear how all of this goes down audiobook style. And then it gets to the end. I was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, you weren't expecting it, were you?
I was not. Yeah.
The only thing about the timekeeper dude, and I hate him so much I don't even remember his name, is that he was giving me Luciferian vibes.
Huh.
Because he was all like, it's not fair that you're gods. I want to be a god. I've been here a really long time. You have no idea. I help run time. I need to be a god. I'm good enough to be a god. I want to be worshipped. I was like, okay, Lucifer. I was like, you know what happened to him? It wasn't a happy ending.
You know what? I didn't even think about that. But again, you bring very valid thoughts to this. Like, he really was acting like a little bitch. All in all, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Does anybody have any more final thoughts about this book? Anything else they love? Honestly, like, I haven't checked the comments from the last video, but I have yet to figure out a proper casting for this if it was to become a show. I'm still struggling with my casting choices. It's a struggle.
We could have a whole live about that.
Listen, I'm still trying to think. I still don't have a full cast yet.
Yeah, me neither.
So it's like, I've thought about a couple people. I've even looked up like actors and stuff that are like big right now, and it's not coming.
You know who would make a good god? I just can't figure out which one.
Who?
Will Smith.
He would have to be one that has some kind of comedy, because Will Smith rarely ever plays a character that doesn't have some type of comedic moment.
I feel like one of them is more sarcastic. He would be good for that one.
Sorry?
No.
Because he's the sarcastic one.
He's more cold. I guess he is sarcastic, but I picture him being more like, well, I mean, if you die, you die. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like all of them kind of have that
detached.
Vibe. I feel like all of them kind of have that. Y'all are humans. Y'all gonna die anyway vibe.
Karina would be good.
Yeah, maybe that's who he should be. Because I need all of Freya's bays to look different, but all be chocolate. Or like all be black and like all have like their own like level of regalness, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's like, yeah, I like the diversity that we're offering here. Plus, I imagine the costumes would look phenomenal.
Oh my God, they would be amazing.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all my thoughts. I think I've hit every moment that I wanted to gush about.
Me too. Once again, fuck Najee. Wait, how is her name pronounced in the audiobook?
Najee.
Okay, yeah, fuck her. I just want to make sure I'm pronouncing her name properly.
I want to make sure I say her name correctly to curse her. I'm dead.
I'm sorry. I just it just triggered me so bad because you always have those.
The more you talked about her today, like all the different ways that she betrayed Brandy, I understand. And I actually agree with you now.
You always have those friends that you think that like would die for you, and then you find out that they like are like orchestrating your downfall, and you're just like, what the fuck?
Right. Oh, last question. What do y'all want to see in book 2?
Okay. Here's my list. Number 1, I would like to see Sarah not be the weakest link. I would like to see more backstory on Noble. I'm very curious about his life. I want to see him reunite with his brother. All I know is that his brother runs that club place.
And his brother is the original one that like was nice to Shaders.
Yes. And his brother, like as much as we know, he hasn't seen his brother since his brother left home. So I want to know, like, have they met up? Are they still close? Like, are they good? I want to see them together in a scene. I need a brother scene.
Oh, that's so
even
nice.
If it doesn't happen in book 2, if he's still alive in book 3, I would like to see a brother scene.
That made me take a deep breath. Ma'am,
I'm
stop.
so sorry. I'm so sorry. I need more shaders. You know how they live in like families?
Yes.
I want to see Tiki's whole family.
Oh
I
my
love
gosh, that would be cute.
What else? I would love to see Tara again. I want to see her make a comeback. Russ, I really don't care. I could take it or leave it with him. He is very intriguing, but like if he just fades to black and we never see him again, I'm fine. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, I want to hear more about what Lena discovers at the academy. She's starting to discover more stuff about the whole time situation.
I actually want more quotes from the academy too.
Ooh, I love quotes from the academy.
Yeah, the quotes were great. I want more so that I can try to guess what happens.
Yes.
Because I went back and read all of the quotes after the book was over to see if like maybe there was a hint in there.
Right? Is there a clue? I love the map. Hope we get a map in book 2 again. And there was one last thing. I'm trying to see if I remember. Please don't kill Jack. Thank you.
That was my number one request. Where it's like, what do you want to see in the book? Jack's lived through the whole book. So actually, what I want to see is, because we all know Brandy is about to step into this major leadership role, right?
Yes.
So I'm ready to see Brandy not only step into that leadership role, but wipe out all the people that wronged her in this book.
Ooh. Take them down. Take them down. Ooh, I missed one.
Which
the
one
queen needs to die. I want like a scene where she's like beheaded, fed to some pigs, something.
It's the way.
I'm sorry.
Yo, I cannot. I'm dead. So, I mean, I don't want her beheaded. I want her got like she's supposed to.
You want her what? Ooh, the shaders should eat her.
With all the ways that she should die, that it's killing me.
We can combine it with Tiki's family scene. Like Tiki just like brings the queen home for dinner.
I'm dead.
And the whole family
she said bring the queen home for dinner. And in that scene, while they are destroying her body and leaving no remains of her carcass, that's when we meet her family.
Yes. Be like, this is Tiki. This is little
That
Tiki.
is far darker than anything I've come up with. Far darker.
I vote for the special edition. That'd be a great edition.
Ashley said, we don't need spice in the next edition. We need violence. So,
oh man, the queen just pisses me off, but I understand. I understand her character, and I kind of admire her in a way. But at the same time, what she did to take over the throne was fucked up.
It was, but I actually want Sarah to get that revenge. So, without the queen being her, she wouldn't have lost her parents.
Can you imagine your aunt killing your whole family?
Right. And it's like, y'all aren't going to mention that she's related to the person that had her family killed. And I don't like Sarah, but I do believe whatever Sarah needs to do from the end of the book to having the chance to kill her auntie.
Look.
It needs to happen.
Slice her and dice her, Sarah.
Alive long enough to train her, then so be it.
We need to give Sarah more powers than just fucking healing people. She needs to be able to like shoot fireballs out of her palms or something.
First of all, that's not Asari's domain.
You're like, wait a minute.
That's called overstepping the domain in which you were blessed with. Stay in your lane.
So true.
Mm-hmm. It's Itachi-esque.
Wait. What does this mean? Is this an anime thing? What am I missing?
Okay, wait. I'm trying to think of the best way to explain this.
It's okay. I'm Googling it.
You know what? I'm intrigued. Please let me know what Google says.
Okay. Itachi Uchiha is a character in the Naruto manga and anime series created by Masahi Kishimoto. Itachi is the older brother of Sasuke Uchiha and is responsible for killing all the members of their clan. Wait a minute! What? What's going on?
You know what? I'm so glad that you actually read that instead of me trying to like explain everything that happened, because I would have given you the long version, and that was a very like short, clear to the cut
I'm
version.
shook. Sparing only Sasuke. Oh my god. I'm excited. Who's killing who? This is gonna be great.
Listen, I was like, I'm all for the gory. That was my next wish. Like, I actually, whereas we got a lot of like Brandy just one shot, one kill type vibe. I actually wanted some like battle scenes. Where
like hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah, well, I want to see the battle scenes, but like ironically, I want to see the powers that were blessed to like the various people, because you know, like some of the shadows got touched by gods, but like we didn't actually see Noble actually like really use his stuff. So I want to see some hardcore battle scenes and magic and fist. Like I want both of them. Like I really want a My Hero Academia scene.
Yes.
Essentially where it would take like 3 episodes to get through one battle. That's the vibe that I'm imagining, but obviously in the book it would be faster.
Okay. I can see this.
It's like I want that vengeance that Sarah deserves. I want more battles. I am dying to know who is going full Itachi on. I'm dying. I really need to know that now. And then my last request is I would like to figure out more about Noble. He too, I would like to see in book 3, but because I'm a pessimistic and I read a lot of fantasies, I know somebody beloved has to go.
Oh, 100%.
And I just, for some reason, deep in the pit of my gut, I feel like it's Noble.
It probably is. And like, I just want to get a brother scene before that happens.
Yeah, I want to know. Basically, this is going to be your end. Remember that time where me and Troy were texting in the group chat and we were talking about how we were ugly crying because Rengoku died in Mugen Train?
Yes.
Like, it's kind of where we've grown. Like, you introduced this character. This character is technically a support character to the main character. We all love him. We all adore him. We think he's great. And then he gets ripped from our souls in a way that just leaves us devastated. That's kind of what I'm imagining is about to happen to Noble.
That sucks. I don't want to imagine that. I'm opting out. I won't be doing that.
I don't know. These are my like sad predictions.
I don't think that Noble will die. I think.
Oh my gosh, no, Chelsea, you don't. Like, you don't have to listen to me. Like, what?
Yeah, Brittany is not to be listened to. Please, just shut off her mic.
I'm so sorry. Just pretend what I just said didn't exist.
I just don't think that our core gods need to die. I'm sorry. They are the gods now, and they need to live.
Okay, but like, hear me out. If it's not one of the core gods, that means we're about to lose. We're probably like our Pixie is at risk.
It's okay. She was only in 3 scenes. Oh! Also, Najee can go.
Najee is not one of the beloved characters.
I'm sure somebody loves her somewhere. She can go.
Your hatred of her is top tier.
I'm sorry. I just hate friends that betray friends. It's like a very big trigger for me. And I'm just like, you can die.
We found your ultimate enemy, and that's really great. I'm so happy that we found her for you.
At least I don't want her to be eaten.
I mean, you already stated that you want. Oh my God, I forgot. The title of the next book is We Are Dying Gods.
It's time to log off, guys.
It's been good, guys. My soul hurts.
Oh, that's right. Sal
could die with, or Sal could die with her.
The only person that loves her is Sal.
That's cute. Somebody needs to love her.
Not somebody. I mean,
I'm sure Brandy, that was another relationship that was beautiful, but
I'm sure Brandy did love her before she proved herself to be a snake in the grass who caused her beloved to be captured and beat the shit up. So, you know,
I'm gonna have to agree with Oshley on this. Like, I don't have much sympathy for her. I don't feel the level that Oshley feels for her, but also like it's a friend betrayal. So that is pretty strong. Also, thank you for not making like it be like a love betrayal and friend betrayal instead. That was another thing I'm gonna say, because friend betrayals are so much worse.
Yeah, she has a long way to go to prove herself to me that she's a better person than she was in this first book. I mean, you know, she could not be. She could be who I think she is. So we'll see.
Facts. All right, guys. It's been real. We gotta go because we need to go adult. Hope you guys have a fantastic Friday.
Yes.
If you're watching the playback of this, feel free to put whatever comments you want. We'll respond back to them over the weekend. Thank you, Chelsea, and thank you, Ben, for giving us this time. And again, I'm scared about book 2.
Man, that title just got me right in the throat.
Made my soul hurt. Not even gonna lie.
Let's hope that the dying gods are the old ones that made themselves mortal. That's okay. I'll miss them, but it's fine.
That would be, you know what? I'm gonna hold on to hope. I don't want to see any other comments, Chelsea. Do not hurt my soul.
Because they literally are dying now.
Yeah. All right, guys. Y'all stay beautiful and stay black. Keep reading.
Yes. Bye.